the worst, hardest time of my life, but it was also the best because like God was there every single step of the way. And I can remember just like,
Hi, what's your name?
Jason.
Hi, Jason. What is your testimony?
I mean, I grew up in the Catholic Church, but I always saw and was taught, like, I don't know, this kind of version of God that was like, the whole white bearded guy on this white throne in the clouds, ready to strike me down anytime I did something wrong. And actually, I figured out, wait a minute, that's Zeus, not God. But not that, I'm not saying that the Catholics are like that at all, but just like that was, I don't know, that was my infantile, immature understanding of it all because I guess I wasn't really paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But then later in life, actually, it was my brother after I was having some pretty severe, I guess, relationship issues. And it was at that time that like my brother, like, sat with me like in the middle of the night in his car and told me all about Jesus and how it wasn't about me. It wasn't about me doing anything good so that I can earn my way into heaven. It was the fact that Jesus was offering this free gift. God was offering me this free gift to have a relationship with him through Christ. And as a result of that, I choose to honor God as much as I can, being completely imperfect. But of course, I try and I study his word and I read and try to serve others. Fast forward about, 20 years. And 20 years from then, like I went on this roller coaster ride and like God was totally involved. I mean, God's always been involved in my life, but I was chasing after God and learning everything I could, but still there were many elements of my life where I would not release it to him.
Yeah.
And eventually I, kind of forgot about it all. Or I wouldn't say I forgot about it all because I still felt God there and I would still talk to him occasionally, but I wasn't reading and I wasn't praying and I wasn't really serving him anymore. I was just kind of doing my own thing. And funny enough, just so weird and random, but one day, I at that time I was married. I had a daughter, have a daughter, living in a house in the suburbs. Things were okay. But I don't know. I'm driving in my car to work in downtown, and it's a 45-minute commute down 45. Anyone who knows commuting on 45, it's murder. But I don't know. I just kind of heard this little voice in my head, and it said, "It's time. It's time to come back."
Oh, I love
and
that.
It was. It's something so simple, and I know, I'm not trying to be all woo woo, but it was so impactful to me. It broke me because it just really that voice in my head. I mean, obviously, it wasn't audible, it wasn't out loud, but it was real, and it wasn't my voice. And because, why would I even think that?
Yeah.
So anyway, the interesting thing about that, though, is that, so I heard that voice and I started coming back, and I started rereading scripture and trying to really get it in me and also, started praying again. And shortly thereafter, I think, in about 3 months, then all of a sudden, things started happening. My ex-wife's mother got sick, and there was just a lot of turmoil and a lot of sacrifices that need to be made and a lot of things that we both had to endure and suffer through. And I really honestly believe that God kind of got my attention and pulled me closer to him so that I would be able to receive his strength and feel his love like just in the nick of time. Because I know I never would have been able to go through any of all of that stuff that I went through without him. And so like he called me before I even knew I needed him. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
yeah. But anyway, and then that situation also led to some really uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
Now I'm going through a separation, and now my daughter is away from me. You know, I spent a year taking care of my daughter by myself, like while my ex-wife was in somewhere else trying to take care of her mom, which we had, you know, discussed, and I prayed about it, and I felt like God said, like, that's probably what needs to happen. But long story short, so then I'm getting a divorce, and I like to share with people that it was both the worst, hardest time of my life, but it was also the best because like God was there every single step of the way. And I can remember just like literally either just pounding the floor or just like laying on my couch and just feeling horrible. But at the same time, I would lay on the couch, I would turn on some worship music, and I would just cry out to God, and he always answered and always gave me strength. And because of that, I was able to not be selfish and not be petty. And every single action that I did when it came to dealing with my ex-wife or, you know, anything else that I kind of considered as opposition or a struggle, like, you know, I really felt God directing me to do the right thing and act like him and in his character. And so I don't know, it was just like I said, it was really, really hard, but it was also like so peaceful and just life-changing, really. So yeah, and that kind of, you know, so that happened, and you know, I just been really, really, you know, there was a time that I've been really just diving into scripture, not just as, I mean, I don't know, like an honest to goodness student, like really studying like the authors of the Bible and the context that they were writing it in, who they were writing it for, and you know, understanding that the Bible is timeless, but it's also written for a completely different people, and having that understanding and starting to gain knowledge about what the real message says and how some people have kind of maybe tweaked and used certain scriptures to put across certain points that's not necessarily biblical. But anyway, I'm not trying to condemn anybody. I'm just saying that my own education for it was like just a joy. And I really get life from like really tearing down scripture and like getting into the ancient Greek and the ancient Hebrew meanings and like trying to figure out what is the context here and why did this happen. And you start to discover all these amazing things that you never knew about the Bible, and like all of the truths that are in there more than you can actually even see by just reading it once or hearing it being read by somebody else on Sunday. Actually doing it for yourself and studying and becoming a student of it is like amazing. But I will just give 100% full props to Bible Project and Tim Mackey. So Tim Mackey and Bible Project and John Collins have like a Bible Project classroom now where they do exactly that. And I think that's been a huge blessing. And I'm really enjoying going through their classes because they're all free. This is an ad for BibleProject.com.
What's your favorite book in the Bible?
Wow, my favorite book. I mean, it's obviously, since I'm a musician, I love Psalms. But I really love Psalms just because of like there's so many little. I love Psalms because it covers all of the bases about whatever emotion or thing that you're going through. There's something in Psalms to like either like let you know that you're not alone, or that like there are other people that have experienced that too, and then ultimately that God is with you.
Yeah.
Like I love in Psalms where, David is crying out, like, I'm surrounded, I'm surrounded by my enemies, like I'm really suffering, I feel miserable, I can't sleep at night, I like cry all night long.
Yeah.
And so he's not afraid to share his hardships. He's not afraid to tell people that, life is not a bowl of sunshine.
Yeah.
Life is suffering. But the thing is that every time he ends a psalm, he's like, but I'm going to trust in you.
Yes.
And you are with me. And like when I go through hard times and I think about that, and God blesses me enough to remind me that he's there and he knows, and like he knows where I'm at.
Yeah.
Man, that's comfort. That's a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Psalms.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jason.